This is Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Concierge Landscape Studios, and we're brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. Let's hear from the Community Associations Institute. The CAI Minute is brought to you by Start to Finish Maintenance Contractors. Start to Finish provides 24-hour service for all of your home and business maintenance needs. Call Start to Finish at 952-259-1219 for your home, for your business, for your peace of mind.
Are you a member of the Community Associations Institute? For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit caionline.org to learn more. That address again is caionline.org. CAI helps community association board members by providing online resources, in-person training, and hard copy publications written by association management experts. CAI offers community managers professional development, networking opportunities, and a certification program that's established as the industry standard nationwide. Minnesota has its own chapter of the Community Associations Institute to bring resources and tools from community associations around the country right to your home. Visit CAIMN.com to learn more and become a member of CAI today. Your community and management company will benefit from your involvement. Join the Community Associations Institute today at CAIMN.com and click on Membership.
I'd like to remind our listeners that we have a hotline, and we want to hear from them.
Yes, we do.
We want to know what your opinions are. We want to know what issues you're facing with your home, with your homeowners association, or with your rental property. So call us. Leave us a message at 952-224-2668. We will take that message. We'll call you and talk to you about it, and hopefully talk about it on the air one day.
That's right. The number again, 952-224-2668. Anytime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 24/7.
Also, for our listeners, too, we have a free resource, a bi-monthly newsletter. A new issue is just coming out now. It's called What's New. A lot of what we cover on the radio show you'll find covered in further detail. All you have to do is give us a call during the week at New Concepts at 952-922-2500. Ask for Lori, and she'll make sure that you start receiving that subscription. Well, let's get to our next story, and that is cities are going bankrupt because they cannot project the funds needed into the future here. Mm-hmm. And the person writing the article asks the question, are community associations next? Mm-hmm. We talked about this a couple weeks ago on the show, Stockton, California, probably one of the largest city in the United States, and most definitely in California to date, has filed
bankruptcy. Yep.
And this person says there have been a number of issues. Vallejo, California declared bankruptcy back in 2008. There was the city of Hercules in California, defaulted on its bond debt repayments. You had, in June, Stockton, California filed for Chapter 9 bankruptcy. That was a city of a little over 300,000.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
And now on July 10th, it says that the city council of the city of San Bernardino, California, has now voted to file for bankruptcy as well. So that makes two major California cities seeking bankruptcy protection in less than 30 days.
Wow. Yeah. They then cite a few other cities in the country that have had to declare bankruptcy. The point they bring up in this article is that there's lots of reasons why these different cities have had to declare bankruptcy. And they list, for example, military base closing, industry shutdowns, gradual financial decline. But they say that Stockton is kind of a unique situation.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at that issue just in and of itself. Yes, there are a number of factors that may show why a city gets a decline of revenue from taxes. If they have businesses that leave, military closings, things that shut down. Yeah, there's a number of things that take place. But it begs the question, doesn't it, what do you do with your spending habits when most individual families have a decline in their income level, don't you have a technique that's called tightening the belt?
That's right. You know, I think that's actually the accounting term for that.
Yeah, that's the technical term.
Yeah,
tightening the belt.
Yeah,
but does it appear that this is going on in our governments?
Not always. It certainly doesn't. But certainly bankruptcy is one of the tools in the toolbox when your income declines. Stockton, they're saying their failure was primarily because they just kept making promises and kept spending money that they didn't have, and they had no plan for collecting the revenue necessary to fulfill their promises.
So yes, and that was not just from someone's observation. That was from someone in the city of Stockton, wasn't it? I think it was the city manager of Stockton. There was a quote.
That's right.
Here, who said that he said that he likened it as an eerie similarity to a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. Those are pretty strong words.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you use something to really to color or identify someone like that, those are very indicting words.
Yeah, they are. He said that over the years, the city promised employees huge and unfunded salaries and benefits. That was one of the things they did wrong.
So what we have here is we have a city that said, okay, we need to spend more money. That's fine. They just seem to be okay with it and allowed the budgets to go up, and they didn't stop to think where they're going to be getting the money for this.
They made absolutely no plans, it doesn't sound like,
none.
To raise the revenue.
They allowed the proverbial can to be kicked down the road, right?
That's right.
What I found very interesting in the city of Stockton, in this case, was a quote from their very own mayor. Her name is Ann Johnston. Ann Johnston is the mayor in the city of Stockton now. But apparently she's been a long-time city council member going back to the 1990s.
Okay, all right.
And so
she's been involved in the governance of Stockton for a couple of decades.
For several decades, yes. And she had, I thought, a very interesting quote here. She said, "We didn't have projections into the future what the costs might be." She said, "I learned that you don't make decisions without looking into the future." You do that now? After the
No, I'm surprised she didn't learn that lesson until she served on the city council of Stockton, California.
Yeah.
I mean, is she, 14 years old or what?
But it makes me ask the question: you're going camping and you walk by a really dark cave? Do you just jump and run into the cave? You're down in Louisiana, the Florida Everglades. You're hot. Do you just jump into the water?
Or do you get some projections about the future
yes.
before you do that?
And even if you don't have projections, don't you try to at least take a moment to make a decision? You go through a process. How likely am I to come out of this okay?
Yeah.
But there was none of that because it's unfortunate, but when it comes to government, I think people have this idea that you get to a point where government's always going to be there. There will always be money. And it's my contention. It happens in a homeowners association, a city government, a state government, everywhere, because people get to a point where the budgets and the number of dollars that they're dealing with all of a sudden become too large for them to be able to wrap their brain around it.
Okay.
And they don't understand it. So they think that they're unending funds. It's like the homeowner who says, "Why can't you just replace the shrubs in front of my home? Darn it, it's only going to be $70-$100.
Right.
But the board is looking at it's not just $100 because it's not just you, but it is 20 other people.
Sure.
And so we're talking about a couple $1,000s.
Right. That's
and
right.
now we're talking about something we don't have in the budget.
Right.
But people don't think about it because the number gets too large.
So much of it, too, is people don't want to deal with the tough issues right now. Like you said, they want to kick it down the road. They don't want to have the confrontations. They don't want to have to go to their city employees and say, no raise this year, because they're going to get squawk from the public employee unions. So they don't want to fight that fight. So they just keep living in this kind of la-la land of delusion, like you said, where somehow the money's going to turn up. Well, Stockton's paying the price for that kind of perspective.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's so much more that we've got to say on this. But you know what? We'll wait till after these messages to continue on. Folks, you're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony on AM 1280 The Patriot. Back after this.